Alright, everybody knows what this is. This is obviously just AirPod Pro 2nd Gen, right? And one of the most frustrating things, at least for me, is when you buy a pair of earbuds or AirPods, you expect them to have good battery life, right? Apple claims that these have up to 5 hours of playtime back with ANC on, right? And up to 8 hours with ANC turned off. But even when I originally bought them, they only lasted about 4 hours. And with ANC turned off, they lasted about 6. So this is what I mean. Companies, or just major tech brands like Apple and Samsung, they will provide the most kind of comfortable environment for these earbuds and then test them under that kind of regulation. They don't test them under maybe cold weather or hot weather, or like a lot of people say, they don't test them in wet conditions where some of them get kind of water infested, right? And that's the thing. As a pair of earbuds or AirPods, these actually are really good. They're a no-brainer for Apple fans or Apple users, and that's just about it. They're not majorly impressive in anything else besides the ANC and normal Apple stuff, but that's where I kind of draw the line. I want to have a pair of earbuds that will retain its value over time. I want it so basically you can keep these for 4 or 5 years and they can still retain about 80% of their original battery capacity. Mine actually have already, so that 4 hours is now only up to 2. And that 6 hours with ANC turned off is now only about 3 or 2 hours. And that's the thing. So many of these companies won't implement battery protection features. They won't, because they want to make it so you can use these for about 2 years and then you buy the latest pair that comes out, right? Much like other brands, they don't want users to actually retain their product for a long period of time. They only want it so that you can buy them, spend your money on something that's cool and new for now, but then in 2 years down the line, they will become irrelevant. And then you have to kind of just throw them away and get a new pair, right? That's what I don't want. I want this so people can actually still buy them and use it for long periods of time. Because what if they don't have the funds to buy a new kind of earbud, right? What if they don't have the funds to buy something that's kind of better, like an over-the-ear headphone, right? And what if they just spend all their money on this AirPod and then they have to spend it on something else? They can, right? That's the thing again. These never ever are kind of promised to what they be. They sound too good to be true, and even that's kind of a stretch even, because companies like Apple and Samsung, right? They test these under the perfect conditions. They test these in like the most comfortable environments ever. Like if you're someone like me who lives in a more colder climate, then these will last even less because the batteries in these will actually freeze. And it's actually been a proven thing that these batteries in these will freeze and they will actually lose charge. So when you look at it as a kind of like a perspective of will these contain their value over time, the clear answer is no, but you will still buy them because Apple stopped selling their wired earphones and Samsung just doesn't want you to use the audio jack, right? So without these, you have pretty much no other kind of premium way of getting your sound quality, right? And obviously you have the gimmicks like ANC, head tracking, 360 audio and whatever, right? And that might coerce you into buying these, but in my honest opinion, I would never buy AirPods just because you would think they last long, just because you think these will last like how much years the other Apple products do, right? Like Apple iPhones, they last for a general kind of long distance of time, but these don't even last a year before, they have to have their batteries replaced, and that's a whole hassle. So in overall, these things suck. Even in 2024, I would never recommend you to buy AirPods in 2024. Not because they're good or because they suck at ANC or whatever, because you won't ever retain their actual value. They will obviously be worse and worse over time, and they will actually be, their battery life will be halved in like 1 or 2 years, right? I would recommend something like the Edifier WH950 NBs, because I've used these for about like a year and a half, and these retain its kind of original battery life. Not because they have a larger battery, it's because you can actually just charge it for 10 minutes and use it for a whole day, right? You don't have to worry about overcharging like you would with the kind of smaller pair of earbuds. And overall, to me, it seems like AirPods, over-the-ear headphones, or kind of what any other kind of Bluetooth product, to me they always seem just kind of gimmicky. Like, will I actually retain this value over time? And the most time the answer is no. Especially something like this one. Again, they're small form factor, meaning they can't implement probably battery protection, or they can't implement a climate control, you know, much like these, where they have kind of metal straps and stuff and leathers to kind of protect the internals of the device. For AirPods, all you have is this small little kind of shell around it, and if you break this, then you're done. And to me, that's kind of stupid. And not to mention, you can't even replace the battery on these. You have to pay Apple to, because these are so goddamn hard to fix. Just as a whole, I would not recommend you to buy Bluetooth products unless you're someone who can have the money and spend a lot of money on these, right? But again, don't buy AirPods, just in general. Don't. They will never retain their value, and you will have to buy another one in a year or even 8 months, okay? I would always recommend something like over-the-ear headphones, just because of their longer lifespan and their bigger battery. But obviously people will still go for the AirPods because they look stylish, they have a social stigma around them, which I get in all ways, right? Using AirPods makes you seem rich, cool, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But again, look at it from a kind of standalone perspective. These suck overall. These are not good products. These are just kind of money grabbers. Because the AirPod Pro 2s, they are genuinely one of the worst battery product I've ever kind of tested in my life. These things lose their like actual battery life in a year or even less. So again, I would recommend you to buy maybe cheap earbuds, but not something like AirPods where you can't retain its original value. So that's about it. You know, this was a kind of a stupid rant about whatever and stuff.